Anything may happen when anticipation for a live performance is great. What transpired on ASAP England was truly remarkable. Watchers of the highly anticipated BP Pulse live program were taken aback when rising star Sofronio Vasquez came on stage, only to have his performance stamped as unscored. Many people wanted to know what had transpired. We don't know why his performance wasn't graded. Was it merely a technological glitch, or was there more to the story? Behind the scenes of that unforgettable night, the one that sent shockwaves through fans around the globe, here is the whole rundown of what happened. Looking forward. In addition to being a concert, ASAP has always been a party, a platform for the birth of stars and the remembrance of legends. Fans' anticipation for Sofronio Vasquez's performance at BP Pulse Live was palpable the moment the news spread. Not just any candidate, Sofronio was famous for his honest singing and sincere performance. Many aspiring young artists looked up to him as an inspiration. Late hours spent pursuing a goal had been interspersed with hardships and sacrifices on his quest. Not only that, but for his legion of devoted followers, this was his crowning achievement. The atmosphere in England. The atmosphere at the English arena was charged with an energy that was palpable. The crowd was filled with anticipation as they waited, while fans waved banners and cameras flashed. The evening had been advertised by BP Pulse Live as a transformative event, with promises of performances that would be unforgettable and surprises that would break new ground. Sofronio was in the backstage area, pacing back and forth while he rehearsed his lines quietly to himself in a state of tense anticipation. He was completely and utterly engrossed in the moment that was about to happen. He had spent weeks training his voice, perfecting his stage appearance, and pouring his all into what would be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. However, even the most thorough preparation cannot foretell what will happen when the spotlight is on you. The show. When Sofronio made his entrance on the stage, the audience went wild and the lights were turned down low. His confidence was palpable as he was dressed in a sleek black jacket that had a faint shimmer to it. The music started playing, which was an intense ballad that rose in intensity with each passing note. All aspects of the first verse were flawless. His voice was full of emotion, and it cracked at all the right moments, which was enough to make anyone feel sentimental. The audience members held their breath, some trembling, others weeping up. After that, the choir made its entrance. Sofronio was able to hit the high note, which is a pitch that many people considered to be impossible to reach. The audience erupted in cheers, convinced that they were bearing witness to a breakout star at the height of his career. However, there was something unusual that was happening behind the stage. The unexpected technical development. The scoring system, which is an essential component of BP Pulse Live, has malfunctioned without the audience being aware of the situation. All of a sudden, the screens of the computer tablets that the panel of judges used to score in real time stopped, leaving the judges stranded. All efforts to reset the system were unsuccessful. When the performance came to a close, the clapping was overwhelming. Sofronio bowed, fully knowing that the next stage would be the distribution of feedback and scores. Confusion began to spread instead. "Ladies and gentlemen," the presenter announced after hesitating for a while. It was clear that he had been taken by surprise. As a result of technical difficulties, the performance by Sofronio Vasquez will remain unscored. The entire room was filled with gasps of air. Sofronio did his best to maintain a professional demeanor, but his smile began to waver. Social media was inundated with comments from fans who were expressing their astonishment while they were watching live streams. How is it possible that such a tremendous performance could have been neglected in the archives, with no mention made of it? The reactions. The spectators that were present in the arena were shouting things like, "Encore!" and "Give him justice." There were others who loudly criticized the verdict, while there were others who merely screamed out in confusion. The people who were serving as judges. One of the judges, who was unaware of the fact that the microphone was on, murmured, "That was one of the best I've ever heard, whether it was scored or not." Explosion on the internet. Hashtags such as #Justice for Sofronio, #ASAPEngland, and #BPulseLiveFail became trending topics all around the world in a matter of minutes. While tweets that expressed anger and identified producers wanting explanations went popular, clips of Sofronio's high note also went viral. Sofronio is devastated by the situation. Sofronio, who was backstage, sat there in silence, his hands shaking. He had sacrificed every ounce of his being for the stage, just to leave without the satisfaction of having his performance validated by an official score. For a few individuals, it was nothing more than a technological issue. He felt as though the universe had suddenly been pulled out from beneath his feet. He said to one of his closest friends, "All I wanted was for them to actually listen to what I had to say. Whether or not they managed to get a score, I really do hope that they were successful." Kelly, who was also performing that night, gave him a close embrace and said, "Take my word for it, they heard you. The final score is not important. Just now, you accomplished something that will be remembered for a long time." The aftermath of the storm. Several hours after the event, BP Pulse Live released a statement that read, "We are sorry for the technical problems that arose during Sofronio Vasquez's performance. Despite the fact that his set was not given a score, we are of the opinion that the audience's reaction is a testament to his brilliance, which was evident. The apologies did little to cool the fire." The fans of the show alleged that it did not handle a significant occasion in the career of a young musician properly. Discussions were heated as the question of whether or not Sofronio should be invited back was debated. Is it necessary for his performance to be rescored? Or had the damage already been inflicted at that point? The symbolism. The performance of Sofronio, which was not scored, became a symbol for a great number of people. It was a symbol of the dreams that had been put on hold, the artists whose work had been ignored, and the voices that had been silenced. A large number of supporters were inspired by his resiliency when he was confronted with disappointments. There were videos that went viral on the internet that featured captions such as, "There are times when the best performances are more than just scoring. It is impossible to rate soul." Sofronio provided evidence that that was the case. The event that was supposed to be a setback ended up being a cultural moment. Beyond the gaze of Sofronio's eyes, Sofronio's friends who are close to him have stated that he was originally devastated by the situation. One person who was close to them divulged, "It felt as though I had been running a marathon, only to discover that there was no finish line at the end of it all." However, Sofronio came to a powerful realization during solitary introspection. He had touched people's hearts. The standing ovation, the video clips that went viral, and the thousands of supporters who declared him to be the winner of the competition all remain, despite the absence of a score. During an interview that he gave at a later point in time, he made the following statement, "Perhaps this was more significant than numbers. Perhaps the goal here was to ensure that people would remember this." Fan tributes. Artwork. Dozens of fan artists created portraits of Sofronio in the middle of his performance, capturing the fervor that was seen in his eyes. Covers. Singers who were hoping to make it big uploaded their own versions of his ballad, tagging him with encouraging comments. Campaigns. Online petitions were started in an effort to persuade ASAP England to grant Sofronio either a second chance or a special spot on the show. The turning point. After several weeks had passed, BP Pulse Live finally posted Sofronio's unscored performance on YouTube. The video received more views than any of the acts that received a score for the evening, which is somewhat ironic. The comment sections were overflowing with positive feedback such as, "This was the best performance of the evening. There is no requirement for a score." Despite the fact that the system did not succeed, Sofronio did. Record labels started to make contact with people. Producers discussed possible collaborations in hushed voices. What started out as a painful experience of heartbreak ultimately developed into an opportunity. Lessons from the unscored moment. Technology is not flawless. Glitches can occur in even the most well-produced shows. Talent speaks louder than scores. Sofronio proved that music isn't about numbers, but connection. The fans have the power. Their outcry transformed a disaster into a phenomenon. Resilience is victorious. Sofronio's calm elegance in the face of disappointment served as an inspiration to millions of people.